Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this engaging session on the state of sustainability R&D. As our world faces unprecedented environmental and social challenges, research and development have become essential tools for driving sustainable innovation and solving complex problems. Today, we have the privilege of exploring current landscape of sustainability and focused R&D with two remarkable leaders and who has worked and exemplify the intersection of innovation and impact. Please join me welcoming our distinguished panelist, Ms. Aline Bisebis, a founder of Nawat Bioscience, a visionary company transforming agriculture in MENA region with over 2 decades of experience in climate-smart agriculture technologies. Aline is leading the charge in creating solutions that address regional and global sustainability challenges. Welcome, Ms. Aline.
Hello, Muhammad.
Also, we are having Ms. Adrienne Dolan, the founder and CEO of Sustain Global, the platform that empowers startups and SMEs to advance sustainability initiatives. Adrienne is working a testament to the power of collaboration and R&D, driving a systematic change for sustainable future. Welcome, Ms. Adrienne.
Thank you. Shukran.
Let's dive now into this interesting discussion. My first question will be to you, Ms. Aline Bisebis. Your career has been dedicated in advancing agriculture innovation through decades. How do you see the current R&D development, and how does it support the sustainable innovation in the region and in the globe in general?
Look, I always like to start by a counter-example of sustainability to know what we're talking about. So you talk about my career. When I started, I was working on a USAID program in Lebanon to replace cannabis production by silage corn. It's a solution that was imported from the US. So we planted corn in the Bekaa Valley, pumped all the water from the groundwater to irrigate it. So water table went from 8 meters to more than 100 meters because we have over-pumped water to irrigate a plant that's not made for the region and varieties that are not made for the region. And if we talk about sustainability, we lost water in the groundwater. So financial, social, and environmental unsustainable solution. So I always like to start with this example to know, and examples like this are many, still now. So all over my career, I have seen how R&D has worked not to have those problems again. But when we talk about R&D and sustainability, we can't just look at one R&D. Actually, it's the agglomeration of a lot of R&D done in many fields. In biology, in soil science, in hydrology, in waste management, in circular economy, and at very big levels going from the seed to the ecosystems. So R&D in sustainability is just not one R&D, it's accumulation of many R&Ds. Just remember that 15 years ago, we didn't have the smartphone. So technologies are helping this R&D arrive to decision makers, farmers, and this is not anymore R&D in the labs, but R&D that come as solutions to farmers. Although like 99% of the R&D are still in the lab and waiting to become real solutions.
Interesting. Eventually, the R&D is not now an option. It's mandatory to innovate the sustainability. Ms. Adrienne, you work with Sustain Global, which has a great ambition to empower the innovators in all the world, specifically in the region. How do you perceive the current status of R&D and sustainability? How do you see the future of this specific sector?
In this specific sector, I hope to see great strides coming. I would like to think of sustainable R&D as a big change of the current way businesses function, especially sustainable R&D. I think with the the entrepreneurs, the startups that are coming now to the market, I think they're disrupting now. They're coming with fantastic technology from, as you're saying earlier, from circular economy, agri-tech, waste management, in absolute all facets now of sustainability. And I hope that this will be a real driving force for change, because as the video showed, sustainability is not a choice anymore, right? R&D should not even be on anything other than pertaining to sustainability, because we need decarbonisation solutions, carbon capture solutions. Everything that we need needs to be driven forward by R&D. And I believe that the whole new Gen Z and that will change will change the whole business outlook, because they're coming with real innovative solutions. However, I think there is a small gap in supporting them. We'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah. This is a good segue for my next question regarding the gaps and the challenges in that. And this is gonna be my question to you, Ms. Ellen. Nawat Bioscience focus on some regions like the MENA region. How has your RD approach addressed the unique challenges in this region, specifically giving that we are today in COP16 discussing a lot of issues regarding the land degradation, the deforestation, and what the lessons can others learn from your work here with us?
Look, when we started, we asked ourselves, what is the root cause of the problems in agriculture in the region? Farmers are poor, lands were overused, so what's the root cause of the problem? And in the value chain, there are people making money in agriculture. Those who sell you inputs and those who transform food. So why the farmer in the middle is not making money and is having problems? I have worked for 20 years in AgTech, bringing like precise solutions with software, like this is the time to irrigate, this is the time to fertilize, you put the right dose of water, and that's great. I mean, I've done this for 20 years. And now we were asking ourselves, and why with all this technology we can't produce as much as Europe, and we can't have those production levels? And actually, we have to think that in the MENA region, we import 100% of our seeds, okay? So all the seeds that we plant here were not made for here. They were made for other climates, for other soils, for other disease conditions. So the idea was, okay, and now shall we stay technology consumers? Can't we become technology producers and not just in the university and transform this to real solutions? And why not produce our seeds that are done for our soils, for our weather conditions, for our disease pressure conditions that are not present in the other parts of the world? So the idea is to start doing it by ourselves and transform to economy of knowledge, and be technology producers and not only technology consumers.
I would agree with that, because I think if you look at 150 years ago, when the Middle East, all medical drawings were all used from the Middle East, astrology, everything, and now we need to start bringing back that knowledge here into the country. And exactly what you're saying, stop planting plants and seeds that that just don't fit in with the biodiversity ecosystem.
Because you will always be like trying to reduce water use or pesticide use on a seed that's not made for that. So if you go to the root cause and make seeds that potentially do better in this region, you will even save more water, you'll even save more pesticides, and actually it's the accumulation of all those actions that will lead to a sustainable system rather than just tackling one problem at a time.
Interesting. The tackling of such interesting challenge is really inspiring in terms of the sustainable agriculture. Ms. Adrienne, my next question will be about the obstacles that you are facing. So, what do you see the most significant obstacles that you are seeing in terms of the sustainable R&D investment in the sector in general?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems. I think that's probably the greatest pain point from most startups and SMEs is finance. And I think, you know, if you have a nature-based solution or you have some technical solution in waste management or you're not as exciting as an AI, right? And you're not going to probably become a unicorn and $1 million company. So I think, you know, and that's where a lot of the investment falls. And so that's a real challenge. I mean, I'm based in the UAE, so banking will not give any investment. Venture capitalists or vulture capitalists, as I sometimes like to call them, they're looking for high-scale solutions. In fact, somebody told me the other day that a lot of the VCs now in the UAE are buying property. And I was like, well, that's going to be great because in a couple of years' time, they're not going to have any water to drink or any food to eat, and let's see how they feel about sitting in their properties. So I think investment is a huge issue. Currently in the Middle East, the investment is going outside. It's actually gone down within the last year, but there is investment in climate tech, but it's going out into the US and into the EU, where there are grants and seed fundings for SMEs, and they're already starting to show revenue. Right, so they're much more exciting than a startup that may or may not, you know, survive. So I think we need really more government help, but we also, not just government, because you can't always ask government for everything, private sector. And I saw yesterday morning here a pledge of 4 billion SAR from companies like Cirque and Al Marai and everything for sustainability, and that's what we need. We need companies who are doing very well, very good companies, making lots of profits, to put that money into the SMEs, into the innovation, into the startups, because we've all got a common goal now, right, to solve the climate problems. So I think somebody's got to stick their neck out and put the money on the table now.
Definitely. I think one of the main core discussion have been happening the last COP29, and COP16 is always about the sustainable financing.
Always.
Who's going to support that sustainable businesses and the sustainable R&D, sorry, so sustainable R&D and innovation in terms of providing the loans, the lending, and the financial tools in order to have that. This is I think would be a good entrance for my upcoming question to you, Ms. Aline. There is a lot of opportunities. How do you see the opportunities in R&D, and how we can maximize the impact of sustainability R&D, not being a small pilot or on small scale, and how we can expedite the impact and maximize it in the sustainable agriculture in general?
Look, there are a lot of technologies today that can be put in the service of R&D for less sexy investments. Okay, so agriculture is like, okay, this is social money. Governments give loans. If you want a sustainable system, private sector has to put money, and has to put money in early stage, not only in SMEs, in pre-seed also, because this R&D will stay in the lab if no one dares to invest long term. And how can we do it in an accelerated way? Today, you showed a video all made by AI, right? So AI can accelerate a lot. You know, 10 years ago, you didn't have the phone. In genetics, it used to take months to do genome sequencing. Now you can do it in a few minutes at $200. So technology actually can be put at the service of R&D to accelerate it. And this accelerated R&D will make the change, because no one has time. We said we don't have the luxury of time. So how to put all those new technologies that are more sexy, like AI, at this, and robotics and connected objects, that interests more investors, and that can be put at the service of all what we've talked about: biology, circular economy, soil regeneration, to make it faster and come to market faster. So we can impact fast by using this technology that I've talked about.
No.
Well, interesting. Sorry. I think one of the faster movers is the startups, and would be the enabling of our sector to go and grow faster and faster. So, Ms. Adrian, how can startups and SMEs align their R&D efforts together with the global sustainability and sustainable development goals to maintain the practical and scalable solutions?
I think they already are, because I mean, within my network, there's only impactful, sustainable R&D and companies coming out. I think we need to align ourselves to the Paris Agreement, because you're going to, you know, what are you doing it for? You're doing it to try to decarbonize, reduce CO2 emissions. This is all aligning with whichever country you're living in, who, as most countries have, you know, signed up to the Paris Agreement. So this is one way to do it, aligning to the Sustainable Development Goals as well, which I'm an absolute advocate for, and just in general having your business strategy within sustainability. I don't think there's any businesses that should be even starting to attempt to enter the market now without sustainability at the absolute core of what they're doing. So I think in general, you know, each country is working towards their, you know, their 2050 or 2030 or whatever their targets are, and this is where the R&D will be going towards anyway. And I think, look, SMEs, startups, entrepreneurs, we're agile, we're smarter, you know, we're on our feet, we're quick to make decisions. But we still obviously need the governments and the corporates, the private sector, for cooperation. We need each other to attain our goals.
Definitely. I think one of the good points that we need all to agree here, and I think one of the sorry, one of the main targets of the COP16 and the conferences like this, to align and synergize the targets and between R&D, sustainability, innovation. This is all coming with the one purpose: to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. My final question will be for both of you, and we'll start with Ms. Aline. How do you see the synergize, and what's your final message to synergize between the R&D, sustainability, and the leadership directions in general? So please give us your message, the final message, to address all of that challenges and direct it to one way.
If we want to see some real action on the field, governments have to understand that they have to invest, not only, I mean, governments too, because, as I said, it's a long-term investment. When you invest in regenerating soils for agriculture, it's a multiple-year investment. So policies has to be put in place. If you want to produce like net zero milk bottle, it has to go from the crop that is planted, that's then eaten by the cow, and all the processing of the milk itself. So it's a whole process, and policies has to be put in place to make sure that at each step of those processes, at the end, we'll have products that are aligned with carbon neutrality. But policies have to be put in place so that this can happen.
Yeah. For me, for the future, I think I want to see more policies put in place to help the SMEs, because we are the backbone of every economy. And if you want to reach 2050 net zero, you cannot reach it without us. So you need to support us, both corporates and governments. And we, at the end of the day, we are the way forward in sustainability.
Thank you for this interesting discussion. Thank you, Alina and Adrienne, for your valuable insights, perspective on the state of sustainability R&D. Today's discussion has highlighted the critical role for R&D addressing all of the sustainability challenges and the importance for tailoring solution to specific regional and industry need, and the opportunity of collaborating and innovation for creating a lasting impact. Let us inspired to continue fostering innovation, strengthening partnership, and advancing sustainability in R&D for the better of our planet and future generation. Thank you to our panelists and for all of our audience and for all of you being part of this important conversation. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.